Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce our group. My name is Kintana Gita Putri and my partner is Ayu Suci Fatsinta. We will present about our discussion. We have two topics. First topic is about Kendal Batik and second topic is about Pranata Mangsa. The first topic will be delivered by me and the second topic will be delivered by Ayu. I would like to tell about one of Kendal Batik, especially Kendal Batik with lowlands motif, that I think it can be an ethnomathematics object. Before that, I would like to tell about Kendal Regency itself. Kendal Regency has a complex geographical contour. There are highlands or mountains, and then lowlands and coastal areas. The geographical condition of Kendal Regency affect the batik handicrafts produced by its people, namely in the very diverse ornamental motifs, pattern, and coloring. Each region has its own uniqueness. This uniqueness differentiates it from the batik producing regions in other regions. The diversity of Kendal batik ornament motifs is very clear. The motifs are grouped based on the division of geographic location, namely coastal areas, and the lowlands and mountainous areas. The ornamental motifs found in Kendal batik are reflections or interpretation of the three geographical areas. The uniqueness of each region inspired batik craftsmen to create motifs according to their respective regions. The inspiration for the creation of this motif was inspired by the types of plants, animals, and routine activities in the community. The variety of motifs in the lowlands is more dominant in the form of plants and fruits, which are identical to the plants and the fruits in the yard. The coloring used is synthetic dyes with chemical ingredients. And one of the motifs of Kendal batik based on geographic location in the lowlands like this. And if we pay more attention to the motif on this batik, the motif on this batik contains mathematical elements. If we look at this, there is a shape on the motif that resembles a quadrilateral, and in the motif on this batik, there's also a repetition of the ornament. If you can see like this in the plane. So this and this and this have the same shape and size. So if we draw a line where this is line as the x-axis and this as y-axis, so the two objects, this and this, are mirrored each other, which means this can show the concept of reflection. And if we pay attention to the quadrilateral, from this to this, it seems like it is translation since the objects are shifted. Thus, it contains the concept of transformation geometry, namely concept of reflection and the concept of translation. So through observing one of the motif on the Kendal batik in the lowlands, in mathematical learning, students can identify the shape or characteristic of the shape, angle, circumference, and area of the shape, and identify the concept of transformation geometry, reflection, and translation.
That's great, Kintana. For making batik in your place, the batik makers or pembatik, without realizing there is a mathematical activities occur on there, so it's great.
So Kendal batik with lowland motif that has been explained before can be an ethnomathematics object since in the motif contains mathematical elements, so that consciously or unconsciously there are mathematical concepts that are applied in the process of making batik motif. And based on the explanation before, mathematical elements in batik can be developed into mathematics learning. For example, students can identify about flat shape and transformation geometry, especially reflection and translation.
Hello friends, my name is Ayu Suci Fatsinta, and here I will tell you a little about ethnomathematics around me, precisely in Temanggung, Regency, Central Java. So Temanggung is a district in Central Java, which is often called the city of tobacco because the majority of its population are farmers, especially tobacco farmers. In this case, tobacco farmers have a culture in the form of Selamatan and Pronoto Mongso rituals, and the ritual of Selamatan aims to make a cultivation activities run smoothly, consisting of nyecel or nyampar bun ritual, among tebal ritual, lekas or wiwit ritual, early salvation chopping or we usually called merajang ritual, and then the last is tunggu. The ritual of Pronoto Mongso, or can also be called a calendar for tobacco cultivation activities in Temanggung. In this case, the mathematical activities found. There are 12 pray or Mongso, namely Mongso Kaso, which is 41 days old from June 22 to August 1st, and the season is dry season. And then the next is Mongso Karo, which is 23 days old from August 2nd to August 24th, and the season is dry season. The third is Mongso Katigo, which is 23 days old from August 25 to September 17th. The next is Mongso Kapat, which is 25 days old from September 18th to October 12th. The transition season in this Mongso is from dry to rainy season, or we usually call it the Labuh, Mongso Labuh. And the next is Mongso Kelimo, which is 27 days old from October 13th to November 8th. The transition season is from dry to rainy season, and is also called the term of Labuh. And then the next is Mongso Kanem, which is 43 days old from November 9th to December 21st, and the end of this transition season, entering the beginning of rainy season, sometimes accompanied by lightning, so that landslides often occur in this season. The next is Mongso Kapitu, which is 43 days old from December 22 to February 2nd. And the season here is rainy season, or we usually call it rendeng, and it's very heavy rainfall in this season or Mongso. The next is Mongso Kawolu, which is 27 days old from February 3rd to February 28th, and this is valid for the year of Wastu, and the rain begins to decrease, and there is often sounding thunder and lightning. The next is Mongso Kasongo, which is 25 days old from March 1st to March 25th, and the season here is the end of the rainy season. The next is Mongso Kadoso, which is 24 days old from March 26th to April 18th, the transition season, or transition from the rainy season to the dry season here. Usually we call it Mareng. The next is Mongso Desto, which is 23 days old from April 19th to May 11th, and the season here is transition from rainy season to the dry season. It also called Mareng. And the next is Mongso Sado, which is 41 days old, and then here from May 12th till June 21, and the season here is the end of March, goes to the beginning of the dry season, so there is no rain anymore. Also we call Prey or Mongso Bediding, and the air here feels cold in morning. And for the implementation of problems in mathematics learning, we can take advantage of the type of problem that looks for the area or perimeter of the land with a certain unit. Or we can make a problem related to the tobacco cultivation process, such as the relationship of fertilizer given to the plant's growing time. So that's all what I can say. Thank you.
Great Ayoy, mathematical activity can be found in the ritual of Pranata Mangsa, and I think the calculation of the days of Mangsa can be developed into mathematical problem. And based the reference that I read with entitled Nilai Luhur Pranata Mangsa dalam sistem pertanian modern, each Mangsa has its own star. The star serves as a guide for the beginning and ending of Mangsa. In Mangsa system, the appearance of certain astrological signs, followed by the appearance of certain other astrological signs, is the benchmark for determining the start and end time of each Mangsa. At the same time, the length of the human image at noon is also used to determine the short length of a certain Mangsa. In addition, in distributing Mangsa, farmers also pay attention to the origin of wind and wind movements.
Yes, I'm agree with you, Quintana, because in the past there was not much technology developed, so people in the past used and understood the natural events and convert them into the calculations. So the prayer or the Mongso institution is the means of traditional deep Javanese society predicting weather and climate has been around since past, which was based on event or nature event, and the farmers or the user in this way should to remember, or in Javanese we call it titan, when is the planting season and when is the harvest season done or start. So we can conclude that our ancestors from Java in ancient times, by only understanding natural event to create tobacco planting calendar, without they are realizing that there were mathematical activities that occurs there, so that these activities could be grouped into ethnomathematics, because in our culture there is a mathematical situation in it.
So in a region can have a culture that turns out there are mathematical elements in it, so that it can be developed into mathematics learning. So we think it is enough from our group. Sorry for any mistake. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.